Welcome to your reformer on the mat. We're going to stand at the edge of your mat and start to roll down one vertebra at a time, nice and slowly, towards the ground or wherever you can reach. And then start to slowly restack the spine, growing nice and tall and rolling those shoulders back out of the top. And again, we start to roll down nice and slowly, one vertebra at a time. Find the mat and just walk yourself out into a nice long plank. So make yourself comfortable, press away from the floor, get a nice alignment, a nice line from your ear to your shoulder, to your hips, to your ankles, drawing your belly button towards your spine, and then bring your knees down onto the mat. Press yourself back, your bum towards your heels, stretching off your back. And now we're going to come to kneeling into our chest expansion. So have a nice long line from your knees, your shoulders, your hips, hands forward, and they go all the way back. Then they just rest at hip height. You're going to look over one shoulder, back to the center, and look over the other shoulder, back to the center, release those hands forward. And we come again all the way back, down to our hips, one shoulder and the other shoulder, and release. We're going to move to a slightly different variation. So we come back to our hips and then we go back 3, 2, 1, all the way back and release all the way forward again. So our hands come all the way to that furthest point, back to our hips, and then 3, 2, 1, little pulses as we're going all the way back and up to shoulder height again. We come all the way back, chest nice and proud, like you're showing off a necklace to someone in front of you, and maintaining that nice strong column. Go all the way back to that furthest point, to your hips, go over one shoulder, over the other shoulder, back to the front, and 3, 2, 1. So we're just mixing both those in here now. So we're going to go all the way back to your hips, look over one shoulder, back to the center, look over the other shoulder, back to the center, and then start those pulses 3 times, all the way up to that fullest point, and release back to the front. Adding a further variation here, we're going to come to our hips, and 3, 2, 1, in that extended position, look over one shoulder, back to the center, over the other shoulder, back to the center, and release those hands all the way to your shoulder height. And we keep going, so they come down to your hips, 3, 2, 1, hold that position as you look over one shoulder, back to the center, look over the other shoulder, back to the center, and release all the way forward. We're going to come into a seated position, legs nice and straight in front of you, sat up nice and tall. So you want your pelvis to be vertical at this point. We're going to bring our arms up as if we're wrapping them around a magic circle, elbows nice and high. And we tuck our pelvis as we roll down, bringing our hands towards our rib cage, holding that, and then coming up and over a big beach ball as we roll towards our toes. Then restacking the spine, arms come up, and then bring our hands down to our rib cage as we hold that position, and then come up and over a big beach ball, reaching towards our hands, start to restack the spine, and arms come back up. We're really rolling down, holding that position, and then rolling back over. So kind of restack the spine, elbows nice and high. It's what I call our ballerina arms. We come, and we're going to turn to the side and extend those hands out to one side, back to the center, and extend to the other side. So I call these our star shapes. So we're just coming back to the center, up and over that beach ball again, reaching towards your toes, restacking the spine, and we come back down. So we roll away, maintain that stability, come to one side, arms reach out to the side, and back to the other side. So if you're on the reformer, you'd be trying not to move the reformer at all. So those hands are perfectly aligned. And into our position, we roll back, hold as we turn to the side, hands come out, straighten at your elbows, roll to the other side, and pause as we come up and over that beach ball again, stretching out your back and restacking the spine. And out to the side again, back to the center, out to the other side, and coming back over. Then start to reset the spine. And lie back down on the mat, feet nice and flat, hands underneath your head, elbows in your peripheral vision. And we're going to come up to an ab prep, so our eye gaze is on our thighs, and we're relaxing back down. We inhale as we lengthen our neck, exhale as we slide our ribcage towards our pelvis. Inhale at the top and exhale, relax back down. And again, our gaze goes towards the middle of our thighs. Hold at the top, open up the diaphragm and relax back down. Come on up, really pause at the top and relax back down. So the slower we move, the more engaged those little muscles are going to be. Now from here we're just going to roll our pelvis up into a shoulder bridge, pressing the floor away, pausing at the top, opening up the diaphragm, then rolling one vertebra at a time back down to the mat. And again we press our feet into the ground. We tuck our tailbone as we roll one vertebra up into that nice long line from the knees, the hips, the shoulders, and then chest heavy as each little vertebra has its moment on the mat, back down to the mat. And then roll up to the top, pause, and we're going to lift one leg to tabletop, and back, and the other leg. Maybe just check that your pelvis is nice and steady. Press up to the top and then start to roll back down one vertebra at a time. So when we're lifting one leg, if we concentrate on the opposite glute, it'll help just maintain that stability in the pelvis. We'll come up, lift one leg to tabletop, and bring it down, and the other one to tabletop. Little marches of those feet. Hold at the top and roll back down. So it's a lovely massage for the spine as well. Now we roll all the way up to the top. Bring your leg to tabletop and then point towards the ceiling. We're going to flex as we lower and point towards the ceiling. So only go as far as you can maintain that nice alignment in your spine so you don't start to overarch. Then switch to the other leg. It's going to come to tabletop, then point towards the ceiling. Flex down as we point up. So again, the most important thing is just having this pelvis nice and stable. So if you had a glass of wine on your pelvis, it wouldn't be going anywhere. Lovely, pause at the top and then start to roll back down one vertebra at a time. Really allow yourself to press into your arms as well. Full body workout here. Come into that pointed position. You're flexing as you come down. Point towards the ceiling. Flex the lovely ankle mobility. Really try and see if you can make that leg longer each time you lift it towards the ceiling. And switch to your other leg. Point your toes, flex as you lower, point towards the ceiling, flex as you lower, and point. Bring that leg down, pause at the top, open up that diaphragm, and exhale as we start to roll our spine back down to the mat. Now making sure that you're imprinted in your spine, we're going to bring our legs to tabletop nice and parallel. We're going to come into our feet and straps series, obviously without the straps, so very intense in the abs. So we're just extending our legs at a 45-degree angle, pointed as they draw in, staying nice and parallel. So we only go as low as we can keep that imprinted spine. So as soon as you start arching slightly, just go a little bit higher. Very intense, very good on those lower abs. And now we're going to turn into our lateral rotation. So come into your frog and extend pointers. So you flex your ankles as you come into that frog, point out, then we draw our heels towards our sit bones as we come in and point out. So make sure you realize how much those straps really help us when we're on the reformer. Okay, really slow this down, and again keeping your back nice and flat. Now straightening your legs, we're going to come into our leg circles. So we come out towards the side and round, just keeping our tailbone nice and heavy on the mat, back nice and flat. And our legs are laterally turned out so you can really move in that hip joint. And then reverse those circles. So we go down to begin with and circle back up to the top. Again, only go as far down as you can maintain that imprinted spine. Now we're going to reach our toes towards the ceiling, come into a little diamond, pointed toes, keep the thighs where they are, extend at the knees, flex your heels, and circle round with pointed toes. So you reach your toes towards the ceiling, come into your little diamond, extend your legs, flex as you circle, and then point at the end. And then we come into our diamond, extend out, flex those heels, and circle to the top. We reach the ceiling, come into our diamond, lovely pointed toes, extend at the knees, and circle back down, again keeping our back nice and flat. Then bring your toes back down to the mat, and we're going to come into our 100. So keeping your imprinted spine, we're going to bring our legs into tabletop and flex your head and shoulders off the mat and start pumping your arms. Inhale for 5 pumps, exhale for 5 pumps. And our eye gaze at our thighs, and we're going to start extending one leg on the exhale and bringing it back and extending the other for the exhale and bringing it in. So I want you to think about energy through those fingers like you're dribbling a basketball, so really purposefully moving at the shoulder joint. Our collarbones are nice and wide, and our neck is nice and tension free. And then we're going to draw our legs in, stop pumping and reach your fingers, and then roll back down to the mat. Release your back slightly. And then come on up. And we're going to come into a lovely mermaid stretch. So I want you to internally rotate your left leg and externally rotate your right leg. And we're going to reach our left hand onto the mat, right hand in the air, and just bend over, getting a nice stretch of your side. Then your right hand comes up to the sky, left hand into the air, and we counter stretch. And then we release, left hand onto the mat, right hand, lots of energy through as we're keeping our sit bones nice and heavy on the mat. And we stretch over to the other side. So each time you restack the spine, just growing nice and tall. And this time we come over, we're just going to start to rotate our gaze down towards the mat. And the hand rotates so it's parallel with the floor. And then bringing it back, we rotate over to the other side for that counter stretch. And we switch to the other side. So we're going to have our right leg internally rotated and our left leg externally rotated. Our right hand is going to be on the mat, left hand in the air as we come over to the side, keeping our hips as heavy as possible. So we try and get our bum cheeks staying on the mat if we can. So that energy through those fingers as you reach over, and then that little counter stretch as that left hand comes to the mat and the right hand in the air. Now the right hand's going to come to the mat, left hand in the air, and we're going to start to rotate towards the ground with our top hand and our head. Eye gaze comes back and we rotate for that counter stretch, growing nice and tall. And coming out of that stretch, we're going to come into a lovely plank. So having that nice alignment from your ear to your shoulder, to your hips, to your ankle, pressing away from the ground, and we're going to start some little mountain climbers. So imagine you've got a paintbrush on your knees and you're painting lovely straight parallel lines along your mat as you draw each knee in. Hold that plank, draw your belly button to your spine, push the ground away. Then we're going to start walking our way back up nice and slowly and restacking the spine lovely and slowly as each vertebra just finds its place on top of each other, and rolling the shoulders back at the end. We're going to reach our fingers towards the ceiling, come up onto your tiptoes and circle your arms around as you come back onto your heels. And again, reach your fingers nice and tall, growing taller onto your tiptoes. Circle the hands as you come back down. And then bring your hands down and just rotate from side to side. And shake your hands out. Release those shoulders. Roll them back and down. Thanks for joining me on the mat today. See you soon.